Hello everyone! It's Cat Space here. Today I have my friend Grace with me.
Hello.
So Grace, where are you from?
I'm from the Philippines
Uh-huh.
and I'm currently studying Nihongo here in Tokyo.
It's my first time filming outside. Hazukashi, awkward. But this time I want to try to make like a little bit chill vibes. So we thought, yeah, we're gonna do it outside. So actually Grace is my follower friend. So we know each other because she knows my YouTube.
Yes.
And then she approached me and asked me about like studying Japanese
Yes.
in Japan. And then when she come to Japan, we meet up.
Yes.
We became friends. It's been 1 year, right?
Yes.
So first question,
Yeah.
why and how you come to Japan?
Okay, I actually have notes on my phone.
She's so serious. I
Yes.
sent her the question and she prepared an
Yeah.
essay.
And this is actually my first time being interviewed. So
Thank
I'm
you.
kind of... Yeah, thank you. So before pandemic, a friend of mine actually told me about this website and she said, oh, you should try applying as an English teacher, blah, 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 blah. And so I checked it out and I actually applied to maybe 10 or more schools here in Japan. But unfortunately, I got no response at all.
Wait, so during that time when you applied is after pandemic?
No, it's before.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that point you want to try to work in Japan, like maybe as an English teacher?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, because that friend actually lived here in Japan before, and she was telling me like the good stuff about Japan, and I was like, okay, I might try it out, right? So I got no response, and then pandemic happened,
Oh,
and then when everything went back to normal, like when Japan opened its how do you call it, border, yeah, family and I decided to like have a vacation here in Tokyo. Yeah, and I liked it, like the transportation system, like the convenience, the ice cream, so, like, everything.
Okay.
It was just so nice. That's when I told myself I want to live here.
You come to travel and then you think that, oh, you want to try to live in Japan.
Oh yeah.
That's the point you start to survey some language school?
Yes, actually, I first researched like how can I live in Japan. I'm sure there are a lot of other options, but the two options that I have were like to teach or to work here and to study. Teaching is kind of not possible,
Oh,
and so I decided, okay, why don't we give like studying a try?
okay.
And that's when I started like researching about.
And you approached me.
Yes, I found her YouTube channel and I really liked her style. And then I saw her Instagram. I think you posted it on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so I followed and I messaged her. And she was kind enough to reply to my Instagram message. And then she actually recommended the Nihongo school that I'm going and studying at right now.
That time I was still a student studying Japanese in language school, and then I think Grace approached me and asked me something about like where do you live, how much it costs. Like,
I asked, where do you live?
I don't know.
A stalker.
Maybe a share house.
Yeah.
And then I shared with her something, and then in the end she chose the language school I studied.
Yeah.
Before you come to study Japanese here, you already working in Philippines, like you already graduated and working in Singapore.
Oh, yeah.
In Philippines,
Yeah.
right? And then how do you feel when you come back to become as a student?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
for example, for me, I was the same. Like I graduated from university and then I worked in Singapore for a few years. So I'm like already, in the society. And then when I come back and study Japanese, became back a student, I was so happy because I feel like suddenly you don't have that kind of responsible as a society person, and I enjoy as a student here. You have a lot of free time. You don't have to think about the tax. You don't have to think about this and that. Every day you can just eat and play and hang out with your friend.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed is that study Japanese in language school, I met a lot of different people from different countries. One thing that kind of impact me is like the study environment is so different.
Yeah.
When I was studying in Malaysia, because Malaysia is still an Asian country, kind of like our study method is more on paper, like books, exam paper kind of. But I think when I study Japanese here, I feel like everyone have the different way of learning. It's not only about you learn from the book.
Yeah.
And then also you study at the age of late 20s. Like after you're already out of society and you go back to become a student compared to when you are still a student
Yeah.
and study, I think it's a little bit different. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy more when I was a student here in Japan.
Yeah.
I feel there's a difference. So what do you think?
I also feel the same way. I think it's like I'm enjoying studying here right now. I think it's much more fun, maybe because I'm older. And you know, I think when you're older, you have more interest in what you're learning.
Because when we were student, we kind of cannot choose, right? We forced to study. Even though we don't like the subject, but at least like studying Japanese is something we choose.
Yes, exactly.
We decided ourselves.
If it's something that you really, really want to learn, then I think you can have more fun.
Yeah, and you don't feel like study is a very torturing.
Yeah,
thing.
even though Japanese is really difficult.
Agree.
But-
How about study with people from other countries?
Yes, oh my gosh, I think it's very, very interesting because there are a lot of like different nationalities.
Yeah.
And it's my first time actually meeting some of them.
Me too. Before I came to Japan, I only been living in Malaysia, Singapore, so I didn't really have that much chance to meet people from the West or people
or
from
other countries.
Before I came to Japan, initially I didn't expect I will meet a lot of people from other countries. I was like, I will make Japanese friends, know a lot of Japanese culture. But instead, I met so many people and I learned about their culture,
Yes.
their things, right?
It's so fun learning about their culture. Like sometimes I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, how can their culture be so different from my culture? Like it's so interesting.
Yeah. How do you think living a life as a foreigner in Japan? Like for example, finding a house to stay or like maybe taking transportation here. How do you think compared to Philippines? Philippines, mostly you have to drive, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Or take the public transportation.
Is the public transportation good?
No.
No, yeah. So, okay,
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah, and the
Same as
traffic in the Philippines is so bad.
Yeah. Do you think like renting a house or a normal life grocery is hard in Japan? Especially also Grace came here to start learn Japanese from zero. So in that kind of limit Japanese skill, what do you think?
Well, for me, when I for my first share house, I was lucky enough to find a landlord who speaks English.
Oh,
So we were able to like communicate in English. So and then the second, because I've been to 3 share houses already. The second one was a company and they also speak English.
Okay.
And also the third one. So, all of them can speak English. So
it's not hard to find like people who can speak English, right? Like for the share house or renting place.
yeah, especially
easily
if it's a
find.
company, usually they have like agents who can speak English.
Yeah.
So with renting the share house or the apartment, for me it was quite easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Is it because the agent kind of help you do everything, or like they make the process easy?
Especially for the direct landlords or direct share house, it's very easy because you just talk and just sign and that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you choose share house?
Okay, why?
Because cat space.
Yeah. Maybe because I wanted to experience like the share house
Okay.
experience. I don't know if that makes sense.
Is it your first time living with others?
Yes, it's
How
very
about when
sorry.
you are in Philippines?
I've always lived with my family
Okay.
my whole life.
Uh,
Yeah, so it's really a different experience for me, especially living with different people from different parts of the world. Because in my first share house, we were like both men and women together.
Okay.
Yeah, and like there are Japanese people, like
Japanese and
different,
non-Japanese.
and it's very, very interesting.
Do you guys like communicate or hang out?
Yes, and I guess they're one of my first communities here in Japan. Like there are times when we would have dinner together at the 5th floor kitchen and just spend time and play games, and that was really, really fun. Especially if you don't know anyone here in Japan.
It's easier to at least know someone.
Yes, yes.
Right. Okay.
So that won't be a problem if you live in a share house.
I also want to ask you have been traveled to Japan so many times, even before you living here, right? What do you think like when you travel to Japan and living in Japan? What's the difference?
Ah,
What are the
okay.
differences?
So of course, as a tourist in Japan, like the experience is very wonderful because shopping streets everywhere, convenience stores everywhere, wide selection of ice creams, stuff like that. The efficient transportation system is what really got me thinking into like living in Japan.
Okay.
That's really one big factor.
So as a tourist, really everything is perfect.
Everything
Dreamland.
is perfect. Yeah, like
Dreamland.
I want to live here.
So and when you decided to live here,
And then when I decided to leave
the
here,
realistic
maybe first 3 months I was still in the
the
tourist.
bubble.
Yeah. Tourist mode, tourist bubble, whatever you call it. But then maybe after 3 months, that's when I started like seeing, those things that you don't normally see when you stay here for like short amount of time. For example, yes. Like the morning rush hour
Oh, yeah.
and the evening rush hour inside the train. The trains are so packed.
Yeah, especially Tokyo, right? Because we are like
Yes.
living in Tokyo. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
It's so intense.
And especially when it's summer. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
You're like when you step inside the train, it's like. How about always when people say going to the city hall, everything is in Japanese.
Oh yeah.
Open a bank. Is it hard for you all this thing?
Yeah, it's kind of hard, but for some applications, I think one of my teachers actually helped me.
Yeah.
And it was so nice of her, and the reception is very, very helpful. Like you ask them anything and then they will help you, especially with the health insurance.
The health insurance,
the health insurance.
The good thing about the school is, I don't know about other school, but for my school, it's like as long as I receive any letter that I don't understand, I always bring it to the school and ask, what is this about? Like,
Me too, same. Yeah, but like in Fuyakusho or City Hall, it's kind of, sometimes it's difficult because, people don't really speak English, but hello, Google Translate. So I just like type my questions or whatever I want to say and just show it to them. And then,
okay.
Yeah, and
you think they're helpful enough?
Yeah, they really are.
Okay.
And I'm surprised that really like the process period is not that long. Like it's quite,
efficient.
and they're very efficient. Like it will just take you maybe an hour.
At least you can get things done by the day, I would say. And then it really depends on the place you live at, or depend on the city hall. But from my experience and what my friend around me is like, usually I think on average the efficiency of the Japanese here is good. Because honestly for Malaysia it's like, okay, it again depends on the place you live, but 7 out of 10 when I go there on that day, they always ask me to come back the other days to get things or prepare more documents and come back the other day, or like now we are having lunch break, no more number. Most of the time I cannot expect I can get the things done on that day. So it's also fine for you even you cannot speak fluent Japanese.
They will welcome you and try to help you out.
So how about the cultural difference? Is it anything?
The culture different. Yeah, I would say maybe like Filipinos are known for being hospitable and warm. Like when you go to the Philippines, people will greet you with a smile. They'll be so welcoming.
I've never been to Philippines.
I hope you.
I want to.
I'll give you a free tour.
Poor guy.
When you go there, people will just talk to you, approach you. But here, I don't feel like it's the same. Like here, I feel like people are more reserved, maybe, speaking from my experience. Like from time to time, like there are people who smile at me or like greet me. But not as much warmth as in the Philippines.
Maybe the staff, they greet you because of their profession. But I think they still keep the distance. You can feel the distance. They have really impact you.
Yes. I always have answers.
I like your yes.
What I like about Japan also is like most people follow the rules.
Oh.
Like at the escalator, when it says stay on the left side if you're not gonna walk, people really stay on the left side. But in the Philippines, I don't think that's the case.
Okay, same as Malaysia.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. Even people know, but they just ignore.
Yeah.
Do Philippines have the garbage system? No, everything just one.
Yes.
Okay.
At least in my area,
Yeah.
we don't really segregate,
Yeah.
garbage. But I think we're supposed to, but we just it's not really
strong on the rules.
yes about the garbage.
Yeah.
But maybe in some places they do, but yeah.
Transport here is more convenient than
100% more convenient. Like here, you just hop on the train, and the next thing you know, you're in a different prefecture, right? It's so amazing. But like in the Philippines, you have to drive or ride the public transportation, which is very, very difficult.
Is it on time, the public transport?
There's no time.
Oh.
You just wait for the jeepney to arrive.
There's no time.
I'm not sure with the trains in the Philippines because I've only experienced it once ever. But yeah, with the other buses and jeepneys, I don't think they're like scheduled. So.
You just stand and wait for the fate to
come. And there you can actually get off wherever you want. You will just say para. And then the jeepney will stop, even though it's in the middle of the road. And then you can get off. But it's very, very
not safe, right?
It's not safe.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, can you give me a few good parts of living in Japan and the not so good part of living in Japan as a foreigner?
Okay, so as a foreigner, maybe I'll start with the bad.
Oh.
So to end with the good.
Okay.
It's living by yourself. I mean, yes, I live in a share house, but of course, like it's different.
Not with your family.
Not with your family, right? So it's really difficult, especially when you get sick. Like in my case, I noticed that when I came here in Japan, I got sick a lot. And it's very, very difficult because, you don't have anyone to depend on but yourself. Like you have to prepare your food, you have to buy this and that. And it's so hard to do those things when you're not feeling okay.
Do you try to go to the hospital in Japan?
Oh, I haven't. I haven't been to a hospital, but I've been to a clinic.
But even you go to the clinic, the health insurance still cover a bit, right?
Yeah. So
do you remember around how much is it?
I was surprised because the first time I went to the doctor, I only paid maybe 800 yen.
Yeah.
500 to 800 yen because I have like the health insurance.
Everyone is covered with the health insurance.
Yeah.
Like even the students, the workers. I think it's very good. The health insurance in Japan is good. I also went to a hospital one time. In the end, very cheap with the medicine, everything.
Right?
Maybe 1,000 to 2,000.
Yeah.
It's very cheap.
It's okay, right? Before finding this clinic, I found other clinics and oh my gosh, they were like asking me to pay like a takai fee, like for the prescription, for the English translation. There's so much to pay, like extra. And then I said, wait a minute. And then I researched more and then I found this clinic, which is really a blessing because I only paid like less than 800 yen.
I didn't know that kind of.
Yeah.
The one you said just now that you're living alone. You see, you have to go to see a doctor. You have so many works to do.
Yeah.
It's back in your hometown easily. You just go to the
Right.
nearest clinic, hospital that you know, right?
Yeah. And here, I think for most clinics here, you have to have a reservation or an appointment. Walk-ins are rare. When you decide to live abroad, away from your, family and friends, it's really important that you find a community because like we need a community anywhere we go, right? So try to make friends, like your classmates or share housemates. In my case, I have my church mates. So it's
your interests, your religion.
Because it's definitely much better with people supporting you. So story time. I'll try to make it.
Should I put some effect?
Yeah.
Great story time.
I was in a katsudon restaurant. I was just eating my katsudon. And then there's this man who I think he got mad at me and I don't know why. Until now, I don't know why.
Is it
Japanese? He's Japanese.
Okay.
And he was mad at me for something. I don't know. And then he started saying things which I didn't understand because I'm not good with Nihongo. And I started getting nervous because what if he does something, you know, not
like
nice,
violence, or you know.
I don't, violence or whatever. But you know, I'm really, really grateful because there's this nice Japanese man who actually stood up for me. He was like my savior, and he started talking to the
like, why are you doing this?
and then they were like exchanging, you know, and I was like, what is happening?
Why didn't you leave the restaurant but you haven't finished?
I haven't finished my food.
So wow, you're still eating food for the man.
Yes, during the last part, I was actually gonna exit, right? But the angry man was there since he's still there, and so I told the kind man, like, I'm afraid to go out because he's in the way. Like, what if I, you know, walk and then he, I don't know what he will do, right? So, you know, this kind man, what he did, he actually brought me to the exit. He walked with me.
He also a Japanese.
He's Japanese, and so
that's good Japanese.
right.
It's not about the nationality, just human.
Yeah, people. Yeah. Yes, Japan is safe.
Yeah.
But it's not 100% safe.
Yes. Now you mentioned, I want to say about this too. I also met two similar experiences. One time is when I was in a cafe or restaurant. I was just chilling, you know, having my lunch, and then there's a weird Oji-san beside you. Then she suddenly approached me and asked, do you have time later, in Japanese? But I can understand, right? I'm very kind. Sometimes I met like the elderly. I'm afraid like, oh, maybe they need help. So I usually will, you know, just respond to them.
Yeah.
First, he asked me, do you have time later? And then I was like, sorry, what do you mean? Like, and then he asked, do you want to come to my house and play? It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then once I heard he said this, I understand, right? And then I was like, no thanks.
Oh my.
But then I was still at the cafe because I think that time I'm like waiting for my work, like to teach, so I have to like spend time there. But he's just right beside me, and then I can understand your feeling because that time I'm also very nervous. Like, I don't know, should I leave now or
right?
What? Yeah. But at least it's in a, you know, it's in a restaurant, public area.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a staff.
There are
so
other people.
I just don't talk to him. I just
but ignore him.
Yeah, maybe it sounds like nothing to somebody, but it's actually a sexual harassment.
Yeah.
So it actually made you feel not comfortable.
Yeah.
See, even until now, I can still remember that experience. So
Right.
it looks nothing, but it has an impact.
Yeah.
And then the second time is when I just moved to my second share house, which is now the place I live in. So usually I'm very fine with, you know, walk back alone during the nighttime. Like in Japan, it's very normal, it's very safe. In Malaysia, I wouldn't just walk alone. I mean, I would be like very cautious and scared. I wouldn't put on my earphone, but in Japan, it's very normal. And then there's also one time when I walk back to my home, there's a weird Oji-san again. He's like riding a bicycle. And then suddenly he approached me, and then I'm on my earphone, so I couldn't really hear what is he saying. But he's also like blah, 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 blah. And then I take off and then I ask, what are you saying? And then he suddenly showed me a panties, a women panties.
No.
And I was like, ew. Like, oh my God, and then I ignore him, but then I still have to finish.
What?
You know, my house is like in front, but like maybe 10 meter, 20 meter away. And then he's still riding beside me. Like he ride on the road, I walk beside the pedestrian one. But you know, the whole journey looks like 100 years. Yeah, it's like, oh my God. Yeah, the thing is, Japan is safe, but I think there's also the things that make people lower down their cautious, I would say. Like my previous share house and my share house now, there's also a lot of cases about stealing. Like people's laptop missing, people's iPad
in the
missing.
share house?
Yeah, there's this kind of cases. So a lot of people say Japan is safe. You know, you can put your phone, iPad, laptop on the cafe table. That's true, most of the case. But you know, there's also chance that people will steal it. For me, I noticed this, so I try to at least take the phone with me.
Leave your bag, but bring your valuables, like your wallet, your phone.
I still suggest.
Me too.
And if you are not familiar with some place, like especially women, if you're gonna walk back at the night time, try not to put on earphone or try to be cautious. You know,
you have to still be alert.
Still a lot of weird person in this whole world.
The good part, I think, is the 4 seasons. Even though I don't like winter because of the
for us it's nice. We like it, right? Because we don't have 4 seasons.
Because we don't have 4 seasons in Malaysia and in the Philippines. And it's just nice to see, you know, like the trees or the surroundings changing and the weather changing, and also the efficient transportation system. Everything is efficient. Like when you go to the convenience store or the ticket gate, you just tap your Suica card or your Pasmo, even your phone or Apple Watch, right?
Yeah.
So I think everything is so convenient. And also another thing is like meeting a lot of different people.
That's true.
Yeah, it's very, very nice.
Because Tokyo is one of the most compact cities
Yeah.
in the whole world. And I think in Tokyo you can really meet the whole world. The whole world.
Whole world is in Tokyo.
Yeah. Even you didn't study in a language school, but you can still join a lot of, meetup groups
Yeah.
or drinking language culture thing. You can still meet a lot
Yeah.
of different people here. So if you are the kind of people who like to experience things, meet new friends,
Yeah.
you can give a try.
Yeah.
Definitely you can give a try here. Just now you said Filipinos are more warm and people here are like more distant. But what do you think about, Japanese on the distance or, a good manner? For me,
Yeah.
personally, I like it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's good people and people keep some distance.
Yeah.
And it's kind of respect of people, privacy.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say, as in, like, for me, I also feel maybe the same, but not the same. It's so hard to explain. Like,
Maybe you still prefer
a warmer community, yes, but at the same time, having privacy and maybe boundaries is also good. It's both like good and bad.
Yeah.
There are days when it's like you appreciate like people respecting your
But someday when you're
Like,
lonely, you're like, why
yeah.
people don't care about me? I see.
like, talk to me. Yeah, so good and bad.
Oh, last question.
Okay, last question.
We've been talking so much. I'm from Malaysia. Right? Have you been to Malaysia?
Yeah.
Is it a lot of time or?
I think maybe, I don't know if it's twice or thrice. And yeah, I like Malaysia. I love Malaysian food, except for the super spicy ones.
Do you think Malaysia food and Philippines food taste similar or?
I think kind of similar, but
Okay.
yours is way more spicy. Yeah, and I cannot take really spicy food, but yeah, a lot of options, I think. And then the shopping malls in Malaysia.
I think Philippines have a lot of
Shopping malls also,
Yeah.
but maybe because I'm used to them, that's
okay.
why I don't like meh.
Oh, okay,
Like I've been there a couple of times, but when it's something new, it's like you see different restaurants, you see different cafes.
For example, in Japan, I think something I feel different. Even when I walk on the street, it's like, for example, in Malaysia, we have Muslims, so you can see a lot of different skin color people and variety on how we wear, dress. But in Japan, you can see most of the people wear similar.
Yeah, black.
Yeah, for men, black suit. For women, maybe it's like, a cute Japanese lady kind of. Yeah, I can tell the difference even just walk on the street. Do you think Filipinos often travel to Malaysia?
I think yes. Yeah, travel to KL and have a photo in front of the Twin Towers.
Twin Towers. Okay.
So guys, if you want to travel to the Philippines, I recommend Palawan and Boracay.
Boracay.
Yeah.
Boracay. Hey, I'm introducing Malaysia. But I remember our language is a little similar, right? Like you remember anak?
Ana,
Anak in Tagalog is also means
child.
child, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then anak in Malay is also mean like child or
Child.
kid. So that time we spoke up, it's like, our
anak,
language,
okay.
sounds similar.
Yeah.
I think that's all for the question today.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Grace, for becoming my guest.
Yeah.
I'm glad Grace is here after a year and we became friends.
Yay!
Yeah, so I will make more interview video next time.
Yeah.
So see you guys next
See ya!
time. Bye.
Yay!